Today we got to talk about Cleveland Browns owner Jimmy Haslam, because he reportedly is upset that fans aren't 100% locked in on this team right now. And let's be real, a big part of that is because of Shedeur Sanders. He isn't playing. Now, local journalists are even out here claiming that ticket sales are down, that seats are looking empty right now. I don't know if that's 100% true, because I'm gonna be—
Jimmy Haslam just pulled off the NFL's strangest magic act, managing to enrage fans more than overpriced stadium hot dogs. The crime? Refusing to play Shedeur Sanders, as if sidelining him is some secret strategy to drain excitement and sell despair instead of tickets. Cleveland's fanbase is melting faster than ice cream in July, and the drama now rivals any daytime soap. Buckle up, because this whole saga makes absolutely no sense, and somehow that's exactly what makes it so addictive to watch unfold.
This collusion to the max, bro. This is collusion to the max. You can't hide it no more. I am done with the Cleveland Browns. Completely, utterly, and literally done with the Cleveland Browns. How has Shedeur not taken a scout team rep? Better yet, how has Shedeur not taken a rep? I ain't talking about individual drills. I'm talking about team reps going against the defense 11 on 11 like he did in training camp. If Shedeur hasn't gotten any reps, plus no scout team reps, what is he doing?
If you're enjoying, please subscribe Shedeur Sanders to the channel. It helps more than you think. The Cleveland Browns are that friend who splurges on a gym membership, floods Instagram with motivational quotes, and then spends the whole year dodging leg day. Season after season, they swear change is coming, yet all they deliver is shaky form, sore knees, and more letdowns. Just when fans dared to believe the team might finally crawl out of its infamous quarterback graveyard, the front office and coaching staff chose to double down on old habits, proving stubbornness is their true franchise identity.
It's getting a little bit nasty. So they're like, look, man, viewerships are crashing. One guy broke it down to me on Reddit. He was like, look, bro, we're not saying the fans aren't loyal. The ticket sales are high, but during the coverage, if you look at the ratings, it's been going up and down, meaning that people were turning off their television. Even though it was a close game, 16-15 or whatever, people were not tuned in for one reason. And I told you guys that was going to happen. Now, I don't know if some of these things are just slander on the Browns, but one thing for sure, we do know people's attention spans weren't there. Now, I watched it.
Here comes the Shedeur Sanders saga, just another chapter in Cleveland's never-ending playbook of head-scratching decisions. The Browns' quarterback legacy could fill an encyclopedia of mediocrity, endless names, constant jersey edits, and a highlight reel that looks less like pro football and more like a blooper reel. It's another reminder of how chaos seems to be Cleveland's brand.
We have good process, okay? And if you'd have told me, let's see, we picked them on Saturday, right? Friday night driving home, y'all are going to pick Shedeur, I would say that's not happening. But we had a conversation early that morning, and then we had a conversation later that day. I think we had the right people involved in the conversation. At the end of the day, that's Andrew Berry's call. Andrew made the call to pick Shedeur. Just like who's going to start or what play we're going to call is Kevin's call. But that's Andrew's call. He made the call.
But here comes Shedeur, a young, electrifying quarterback with star power, swagger, and more social media heat than the Browns' offense has managed in a decade. You'd assume the franchise would roll out the red carpet, give him first-team reps, and finally offer fans a reason to believe. Instead, Jimmy Haslam and Kevin Stefanski act like he's a forgotten Wi-Fi password. Undeniably valuable but somehow left sitting in the corner, ignored, while the team clings to the same stale formula everyone's tired of watching fail.
And in there holding a clipboard, he a coach now. He's standing on the sideline watching while Joe Flacco and Dylan Gabriel getting all the reps, and then Bailey Zappi going against the first team defense on scout team. Cleveland, if you were gonna bury him on the depth chart, you might as well just put him on the practice squad or just released him. Trade him if you don't want him. But I'm telling you, I told y'all what they doing. I told y'all what Cleveland doing. Cleveland is trying to bury Shedeur on the depth chart so he won't play. Think about it. This man signed a 4-year contract. What can Cleveland do? They can control his career, playing career, on the field, not off the field, on the field for the next 4 years.
The fans, of course, see it differently. Clevelanders have survived freezing stadium nights, questionable draft picks, and a whole lot of creative heartbreak. They're not asking for much, just a chance to see something new. They know what mediocrity looks like, they've had season tickets to it for years. When Shedeur's name gets floated, their eyes light up, because finally there's a chance to break free from the endless cycle of "trust us, this time it's different." Spoiler alert, it's never different. And now, fans are convinced that ownership is deliberately trying to stomp out the one spark of excitement they have left. But why? Why would Kevin Stefanski, the man who treats offensive play calling like it's a delicate instruction manual, refuse to give Shedeur a real shot? Because Stefanski is married to his system. He's the kind of coach who would rather lose a game with his blueprint than win one by improvising. Shedeur is exciting, unpredictable, and dynamic. Then there's Jimmy Haslam, the businessman who runs the team like he's deciding on gas station coffee flavors, safe, bland, and guaranteed to leave everyone unsatisfied. Haslam's reluctance to let Shedeur shine has less to do with football and more to do with optics. He's worried about headlines, sponsorships, and what the decision looks like in the boardroom. It's politics dressed up as football. He'd rather deny Shedeur an opportunity than risk shaking up the stability he thinks he has.
So you mean to tell me the Cleveland Browns listed Shedeur Sanders as inactive today? Inactive? Yo, look, man. At this point, hey, I'm a fan of Shedeur, I'm a fan of Dion, but we just need to stop caring. Because the more people actually trying to tune in to watch Shedeur, the more they ain't gonna play him, and the more they using him for clout and clickbait. They don't want the guy. The owner don't want him. The coach don't want him. The general manager don't want him. They don't want him on the team. Obviously, the NFL do not want Shiloh or Shedeur in the league, but Shedeur is good for money and ratings, or he wouldn't even be there.
Meanwhile, the locker room sits in quiet tension. Veterans want stability, not a rookie stealing reps and possibly disrupting their carefully balanced mediocrity. Younger players, though, see the hype, feel the energy, and wonder why the team won't just let Shedeur play. The result? A silent split, like a family pretending to enjoy Thanksgiving dinner while glaring across the table. Nobody says it out loud, but everyone knows the truth. The Browns are terrified of their own potential. And that's the real tragedy. Fans romanticize what could have been, every loss becomes proof that ownership blew it, and Jimmy Haslam becomes the villain in a saga he accidentally wrote. Because this isn't just a refusal to play a quarterback, it's a refusal to change, a refusal to evolve, and a refusal to finally give fans what they've been begging for. At this point, the Browns' strategy looks less like football management and more like self-sabotage. Someone has to make the bold call, take the risk, and step out of the endless loop. But instead, Cleveland's leadership seems perfectly happy recycling the same tired script. And that's why fans are fuming, because for once, the ending could be different. Shedeur Sanders could be the change.
I also can't blame anybody who says, I don't necessarily trust this coaching staff to develop a quarterback or to evaluate the quarterback position. They've made some really oddball decisions at this position over the last several years, and I don't blame anybody for questioning, do these guys actually know what they're doing?
I don't think that's unfair at all. The thing I would say is that they're desperate. They're very desperate. Like the entire organization is desperate. And if you really think they're going back to the coaches' offices and all getting around the table after sessions and being like, guys, Shedeur is unbelievable.
Cleveland isn't cheering, it's seething. And that seething is directed squarely at Haslam, the man fans now see as the gatekeeper holding back their potential future. Stefanski doesn't escape the wrath either. His offense already has the entertainment value of a dial-up internet connection, and now he's blocking the one player who might actually make Sundays exciting. It's almost like he's allergic to risk. If given the choice between rolling the dice or folding before the game starts, Stefanski folds, proudly, even. He's the guy who orders chicken tenders at a 5-star steakhouse. And in Shedeur's case, he's not just folding, he's welding the table shut so nobody else can play. Every week that passes without Shedeur getting meaningful reps, the legend grows bigger. He hasn't thrown a pass in a game, but in the minds of Browns fans, he's already the savior. He's the chosen one, the golden ticket, the quarterback who could finally turn this horror film into at least a decent rom-com. By keeping him off the field, Haslam and Stefanski are basically writing the NFL's greatest what-if story in real time. And no fanbase loves a conspiracy theory more than Cleveland.
Let's give him a chance. Let's give him a chance with the play calling. You know you have an offensive line that isn't playing that well. So what do? Why not just play the short game so he can get the ball out of his hands very fast to run a competent goddamn offense? Outside of that, Shedeur has to be better in understanding that the offensive line that you're working with right now is not adequate. Why not allow the players that are competing for a job, in this instance, Shedeur Sanders, to finish off the 2-minute drill? Who makes that call? He makes that call. Why? Because I want the last thing people to see is the mistakes and the sacks that happen.
Let's not forget the locker room politics. Veterans are probably nodding along with Stefanski because they prefer predictable disaster over unpredictable chaos. It's easier for them to know where they stand in a failing system than risk losing their spot to a quarterback who might actually work. The younger guys, though? They're itching for change. They want the energy, the spotlight, the adrenaline rush that comes with a new face leading the charge. But instead of a locker room united under possibility, you get quiet resentment simmering beneath the surface. Nothing says team chemistry quite like half the room rolling their eyes at the other half. But let's step back and really savor the irony. The Browns have spent decades praying for a quarterback who could energize the franchise. Or better yet, like downloading Netflix just to rewatch VHS tapes. And right now, Jimmy Haslam is voting for the quiet fail. Stefanski is co-signing it with enthusiasm. And the fans? They're stuck watching yet another rerun of the same terrible show they've seen 100 times before. The Browns aren't cursed by fate, they're cursed by their own inability to get out of their own way.
Myles Garrett, you shouldn't sign a new contract. You should have got out. Y'all won't win 5 games this year unless you put Shedeur Sanders in, and nobody's coming to the games. It was half full. That means it was half empty. No Shedeur, we ain't watching. Jim Haslam, I love it. You're furious. You're mad. You're pissed off. You're ticked off. There's nothing you can do because the people have spoken. Unless you put Shedeur Sanders in that game so he can win something for you, you won't get anybody coming to your game. Why? Because we don't like you and we want to see Shedeur Sanders only.
But here's the kicker, the longer they keep him sidelined, the bigger the backlash will be. Fans aren't patient anymore. They've been promised too much, lied to too often, burned too many times. This isn't just frustration, it's mutiny in slow motion. And once a fanbase turns against ownership, there's no going back. So while Jimmy Haslam sits in the owner's box pretending everything is under control, the reality is slipping right through his hands. The Browns are on the verge of losing the one thing they can't afford to lose, the loyalty of their fans. And all because they decided playing Shedeur Sanders was somehow scarier than sticking with the same old failures. At this point, you have to wonder if it's intentional. Maybe the Browns are running some secret experiment to see how much pain a fanbase can endure before they collectively storm the field.
Oh, I really don't care about this game because they didn't have Shedeur out there. So realistically, I'm not watching the Browns until they put Shedeur in the game. I just looked at the stats, honestly, but when it comes to the Browns, if Shedeur is not playing, I'm not watching the Browns, and I'm gonna start the petition for real.
I was just about to say that. Are we protesting?
Yeah, I'm protesting.
I'm not mad at it.
Maybe Haslam wakes up in the morning and asks himself, how do I ruin hope today? Then he looks at Shedeur, sitting on the bench like a statue carved out of wasted potential, and nods with satisfaction. Mission accomplished. The real kicker is how obvious the solution is. Fans aren't demanding a Super Bowl ring tomorrow. They're not even demanding 10 wins. They just want a reason to believe. A reason to drag themselves out in freezing weather, sit in that stadium, and cheer without feeling like they're watching reruns of a bad sitcom. Every week, chants for Shedeur get louder. Every press conference where Stefanski dodges questions feels like a slap in the face. Every bland excuse from Haslam is gasoline on the fire. The Browns aren't just mismanaging a quarterback, they're mismanaging the soul of the franchise. And you don't come back from that easily. What makes it worse is the Browns' inability to see the bigger picture. Shedeur isn't just another rookie. He represents cultural buzz, crossover appeal, a spotlight that could actually make Cleveland relevant beyond the AFC North.
Yo, look, I'm sick and tired of seeing how the Cleveland Browns and the NFL is treating Shedeur Sanders. This right here got me hotter than fish grease. This got me hotter than Texas on an August noon when it's 111 degrees. This right here is bull dookie. I'm trying not to curse. I'm trying to stay kid friendly. But this is crazy. Bro not even running practice squad. They say he not even practicing. He just there. Not even practice. We talking about practice.
But Haslam is too busy micromanaging, Stefanski is too busy protecting his system, and together, they're missing the marketing opportunity of the decade. And so the story of Shedeur Sanders becomes bigger than football. It becomes the story of a franchise at war with itself. Ownership versus fans. Tradition versus change. Fear versus hope. And while Haslam and Stefanski think they're protecting the team, what they're really doing is suffocating it. Because here's the truth no one in that front office seems willing to admit, the Browns don't lose because of talent, they lose because of mindset. They lose because they'd rather avoid risk than chase reward. They lose because every time they stand at a crossroads, they choose the road that leads right back to disappointment. Fans won't just want him to play well. They'll expect him to walk on water, part Lake Erie, and deliver the Lombardi Trophy with a side of redemption. And if he fails? The blame won't be on him, it'll fall squarely on Haslam and Stefanski for dragging it out this long. And knowing Cleveland, they'll probably find a third option that somehow makes things even worse. Because that's what the Browns do. They turn opportunity into disaster, talent into trivia, and potential into punchlines.
Why did they draft him? Why? The Browns wanted Kenny Pickett to battle 40-year-old Joe Flacco. That's their answer at quarterback. And they drafted Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round and then put through the Shedeur, the most popular player in the draft. They threw in the 5th round, and they say it's a value pick. When they say it's a value pick, the value is what? You're not giving him a chance to start. You're not. Right. They won't even let him play the ones.
And this saga with Shedeur Sanders is shaping up to be their magnum opus, the defining moment of their dysfunction. Not because of what happens on the field, but because of what they refuse to let happen. So where does it all go from here? That's the million-dollar question. Maybe Haslam finally caves, succumbing to the noise and giving Shedeur his shot. Maybe Stefanski loosens his death grip on the system and realizes excitement isn't a sin. Or maybe, and let's be honest, this is the most Cleveland option, they dig in deeper, deny reality longer, and ride this train straight into another wasted season. And Shedeur Sanders remains the symbol of what could be, trapped on the sidelines, waiting for the day when Cleveland finally realizes that playing it safe is the most dangerous move of all.